All right, we're in the building. Welcome to the gaming stream with Mark and Jeremy. Jeremy and Mark, the duo with, I won't say the duo with the most duo, but that's not like a word. Let's greet the people in the streets. I couldn't make it work. This was not my shining day. What's up, Luis? Good to see you. No, you got this. Thank you for coming. Jesus, welcome. Cornell, welcome. Good to see you. The man, the myth, the legend, Michael Faith in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Man, Michael always comes through hanging in. I'm hanging out. My words are just not working at all these today. Yvonne, good to see you. Mugatu, hello from Brazil. What's going on? Thanks for coming. Yes, it's starting. IVG code. Let's go. We're in the building. Raul, what's going on? Hey, I want to learn more too. So what's going on, Mia? I like the energy. PB, good evening. Welcome, Raul. Let's go. Nuno, let's go. Josh, listen, the NG courses, I literally was just in a meeting about this. They are in post-production and they're coming. They're coming, I promise. Let me tell you a secret. We delivered something like multiple 25 gigabyte like HD file, 4K files for this stuff. I mean, it's wild. So we're working on it. Shlomo in the building. What's going on? Let's see. We got people. Ronak, good to see you. Paul in the building. Ulysses. Oh, ¿cómo está Luis de Barranquilla, Colombia? Good to see you. Evgeny from Israel. What's going on? Hello. So many people. What kind of game are we going to implement today? Good question. Jeremy, what kind of game are we going to implement today?
We're going to make chess because Mark and I didn't plan a different game ahead of time, and I know how chess works.
Right. I'm going to learn about chess today. And while we're implementing the game, friends, here's what you get to do. Ask us questions and get involved. We're going to answer questions about Angular. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Hello from Ghana. Let's go, Ransford. What's up? Coming in from Africa, Ghana. I love it. What part of Ghana are you coming from? Good to see you. Jeff from Virginia, what's going on? So many people. Joel from Mexico, what's going on? Brandon, hola, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido aquí con nosotros. Thank you. Oh, look, they're excited. The people are excited. Chess, they know. Okay, so one thing you don't know about Jeremy. Jeremy is literally a competitive programmer, and he's really good at improv.
Used to be, long time ago.
So he can do a lot of stuff. I love working with him. All right, without further ado, Jeremy, let's get that 80 space wide.
So I'm going to share my whole screen.
Let's get it shared out.
The only way you can see everything. Unfortunately, it means I can't look at you, Mark, while I'm doing this.
Well, we're going to have to survive without looking at me today. I know I was on the stream last time. I watched the last stream, though, Jeremy, and it was so good to see everybody. And this stream is fun to watch. I was actually super excited to experience it as a participant and not as a host.
I have no memory of that last stream.
It was good, though. You all did great. And I'm glad that people are happy about it. So Jeremy already has his app built out, the standard template.
Yeah, I mean, I just ran ng-new, and so this is the default ng-new app. I just called it chess, and so I'm going to delete all the template stuff, and now it's just chess. So again, if you've watched us do anything before, it's not going to be very pretty initially, and we're just going to kind of wing it as we go. And so first thing we're going to need to do is put in a table of our chess stuff. So I'm going to just do a little, let's move the TR here. So I think a chessboard is 8x8. Mark, can you confirm?
I was just about to check for you. I'm looking right now. Chessboard dimensions. Let's get this. Why did it tell me it's 21 inches by 21 inches? I need to know the squares. It's 8x8. There you go.
So this is, I'm just getting something on the page first. That's what we do, is we get something on the page and then we iterate. And so let's also just get that. Oh no, it gave me CSS instead of SCSS because I don't think it could do the prompts on Windows. I'm gonna have to write CSS instead of SAS. Oh well, I'll live. All right, so we're just
doing that.
Oh.
So Brian from Peru. I like Peru because you all don't say aguacate, you say palta for an avocado. And I think that's so interesting because I always say aguacate, but I know it's different in different places. But that's what I remember about Peru, the palta. All right, let's see what we got going on. We got a question. So while you're building out your chessboard, which looks great, let me answer some questions. You can do some styles.
I can answer questions while we go. What do you
All right,
got?
so what do you think about still using in modules? I think that shared modules doesn't make sense anymore with standalone components, but what about a feature module with the folder of a component inside?
I think that standalone is still something I would prefer. Why is this only 3?
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I would still prefer standalone even for stuff like that. No, so we haven't, like, for example, moved Angular material over to standalone yet, but that's really just been a matter of time and not any sort of philosophical difference. We do have to figure out some questions about, like, how do you, like, bundle components together. So, for example, mat_tab is actually like 6 or 7 different components or directives under the hood. Because you have, like, the tabs, the tab labels, the tab content, all that stuff. And so you do need to get all of that, and importing all of those things individually is not the best experience, but we will figure it out.
Yeah, we're still working. I mean, so there are still emerging patterns. But this is a great question, Brian. Thanks for asking. And I think Michael gave a good answer as well. All right, let's see. Just some more greetings. We got Oscar from Colombia. We got a lot of developers in Colombia that are just like hanging out with us. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Man, you know, Nate, I know Nate is very excited about this. So, Jimmy, thanks for reminding the streets about Nate. Marcus, welcome, Marcus or Marcus. I wonder how you pronounce your name. I'm gonna say Marcus, but I don't want to offend you. But hello, good to see you. Gaike from Brazil, welcome. A lot of people from Brazil as well. This is a question for Jeremy specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Is WebStorm better than VS Code?
Yes. End of discussion.
So for people wondering why I'm laughing about this, Jeremy, on the team in general, Jeremy is known for his fierce advocacy of us using WebStorm versus VS Code, even though people use what they want to use. But he's very into it. All right, tell us what we got so far, Jeremy. What we got going on?
So far, I'm just generating the board here. I'm gonna put a little CSS class on the TD. We'll say, actually, we'll say here, class.black equals, and so it's going to be, I think I'm going to just pull up a picture of a chessboard over here so I can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the corner here, the top left corner is white, and so we're going to say it's only if it's odd that we are going to make it black. So our mod2 equals 1 and column mod2 equals 1. So these triple equals or double equals here, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to say this td.black is background color is black. So let's do that. That's not right.
What happened to your, yeah. Oh, it did the columns, not the rows.
Or no, that's not right either.
That's a different board. That looks like a witness puzzle, chess like puzzle piece from the witness.
So I guess it's okay. It's let's just go ahead. I'm going to make this a function over here.
Yep.
So we're going to say is black. And we're going to say row is a number. Yeah, I know what I did. And oh wait, I wonder if there's a clever thing I can do here. I wonder if I can say, this might be nothing. If I can say the R2 and CO2, is this anything? Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Perfect. It is what you wanted.
Because what it is if it's either the row is odd and the column is even, or the column is even and the row is odd, which you can actually do just by adding the modulos together, and that will tell you if one of them is odd.
Let's go. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty clever. I would not have thought of that on the spot. That feels like a very googly interview question to like, how could you optimize a chessboard coloring? And you're like, oh yeah, add these together. That's pretty clever. Look at, see, this is why.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of thing, right? It's like a little programming trick that if I don't put a comment here, this is completely opaque to anybody who doesn't understand what's happening here. Of like, already, right? Like the modulo operator is pretty rarely used. And for someone who might not be familiar with it, we're like, why are you adding two modulos together? Like that's so strange. And it's just like, oh, it's this like weird little mathematical trick that works. And so if I were writing this in real life, right, it's not maybe necessarily that I wouldn't do it, but I would definitely add a comment here of like, we want a cell to be black if either the row is even and the column is odd, or the row is odd and the column is even. Adding their two modulo two together tells us if only one of them is odd. All right, so in real life, I would write a comment like this to explain this little bit here. I also, you can't put the comment here inside of the TD because a comment node is actually like a real node in HTML. And so you can't like insert a comment node inside this node, even though Angular does not render comments to the final DOM. This is just, HTML syntax. So this is kind of tangential from the whole like creating chess thing. But always, like, whenever you do like a little clever trick like that, like it's not always the worst thing in the world to do, but like always explain yourself so that other people can read your code later. And sometimes don't do the clever trick. Sometimes it's okay to write a little bit more verbose code that's easier to read for people.
Right. All right. So I got a question for you. You have some options here. For your king, queen, rook, bishop, knight, and pawns, you can do letters, or I found some SVG art for you.
Oh, SVGs are going to be a pain. So I'll start off with letters, and if we have time later, we'll add icons.
Okay.
I feel like there's Unicode characters for these, though, aren't there? Like Unicode chess. Yeah, there's like Unicode characters.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, they're right here. Okay. So we'll grab those later.
All right. Yeah, keep that tab open so you can come back to it later.
Yeah. That's what programming is just keeping tabs open for later.
Right.
So what am I going to do here? So I'm going to have to create different types of pieces. I'm just kind of thinking through my thought process here on the fly, right? So each piece is going to have rules for what it can, where it can move. And that where it can move is also going to depend on the state of the board, right? So like a pawn can move normally just straight forward, but it can move diagonally if there's an enemy piece there that it could capture. Whereas I think all the other pieces, they just have fixed movement. It doesn't depend on what's there. So pawns are
zero context for chess. This is a game I've never learned.
Okay, so yeah. Let's see. What's the best way to capture each of these pieces' unique movement? Like, what I kind of want to do is create a data structure here that is just all of the different pieces movements. So let's just call, let's call it, let's say const piece types, right? And we're gonna say, this is just an object literal, a pawn. And so I'm just kind of brainstorming this. I'm going to like refactor it to be neater. And so we can, honestly, let's just go ahead and use the piece. Oh no, because they could be white or black, right? So we're going to have to use one or the other based on that. So let's not do that. So let's just say pawn. And this is going to have like move. Let's say valid move, right? It's going to be a function of row, comma, column, and it's going to need the game board. So board. So yeah, we're going to want our pieces to have that. Valid move equals is. And then this is going to be a number. This is going to be a number, and this is going to be. How are we going to represent our game board? We're going to have probably just represent it as a string two-dimensional array, right? Where we'll represent what piece is there based on like this identifier.
Right. Okay. 1 second. Well, I want to answer some questions. So why not call a descriptive function instead of adding a comment? Oh, that's because we're just. Well, Jervis is going as fast as he can, and in production code, we do better about a lot of this stuff. But right now, we're just trying to make stuff work.
Yeah, you could totally move this out to a function and add a comment here if you wanted to. That would probably be a little bit neater. I was just trying to illustrate that, like, always write a comment, kids. So we can actually, I guess, just start writing this out, right? So. For a pawn, a valid move is, you need to know whether what their starting position is, right? Because you need to know for which player is controlling it, right? On what side of the board they're on. So you also need to have so actually we'll just call this, we need to have like a player, right? So let's also create, I guess, starting position. We'll say like player is also going to be like top or bottom, right? That's how we'll identify our players, as our top or bottom. And honestly, let's just make a decision mark of like white will always play on the bottom half and black will always play on the top half.
Yeah,
so that's going to make our lives easier. So
V1, make that run that. And then we're also going to say hi to one of our favorite people in the universe, Bonnie Brennan, in a building from Angular Nation. Check out Angular Nation, excellent Angular community. So friends, if you're out there, you're looking for some place to hang out with other Angular developers in a very warm, inviting, and safe space, I really do like Angular Nation for that. So check out Angular Nation and run by the fantastic Bonnie Brennan. Bonnie, what up? Thanks for checking out the stream.
Okay. So now that I've kind of written this out, I have a better idea of what I want to do for this. And so I'm going to say class just piece, right? And so it's going to have an ID, that string, and maybe this won't be a class. Maybe this will be an interface. But so yeah, it'll have an ID string. It will have a valid move. And what that's going to take is, I'm just going to grab the signature here. We are going to want, for our piece, we're going to want to have a reference to the board. So we're just going to have that. It's not going to be a string array. It's going to be a piece array.
Interesting. So you're going to change your board array, your board from a. Could you make that like a type someplace? That way you don't have to keep typing it and forget it, because since you have it in two different versions.
Oh, I'm going to delete this in a second.
Okay.
And so this is, we're just going to say color is going to say white or black. And so now the piece knows what color it is.
Comma.
And this.
On line 6.
Well,
oh, wait. No, that's fine. I thought you were doing the object literal again, and then you switched the interface on me. All
yeah,
right.
So this is a method that returns a Boolean. What's my mistake, gang? What did I do wrong?
That you put an implementation in the interface?
Oh, you're right. Class. All right, we'll just say interface. And then we'll just say that's interface. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to create, first thing we're going to do is create our starting board.
Okay, wait, before you go, a lot of people have questions on the approach.
Okay.
We want to talk about a couple of those?
Yeah. Hit me your questions, and I'll try to even answer them while I'm doing this.
All right, so we have one question. So each piece, or it's a suggestion, but it's like, so each piece should have a current position and a function to check if the move is valid, and probably a history. I don't know if that's...
We're not going to keep track of the history.
Too much too soon, huh?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. But remember, I think a lot of people also want, they're trying to think about how they would solve it, and then they're watching how you solve it. So they're just, asking some questions. So why not create a base class and extend it for each piece type? That's what I would think to do.
That would be a heck of a lot of code.
Okay. Makes sense.
With so many different classes, when really like all the pieces are kind of like interchangeable, and you can capture their differences as data members of this thing rather than encoding them in like a bunch of different classes.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's some questions about the color as well. Like, why are you storing a color in the piece? That's for display purposes, though.
Well, it's not just for display purposes, right? It controls which direction you can move, right? So like,
okay, so that's why how you're using it. You're using that.
And so what does forward mean when you have a player on both sides of the board? You need to know which player is controlling that.
All right. So hopefully that helps answer that question, because I saw that as well. Why not store the Unicode directly in the piece? We might get there by the end, but there's some stuff, we're trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Let's see, Sean. Okay.
We'll show the characters there soon. So first, let's go ahead and initialize our board. So we're going to have, say, board equals, we'll just say like create board. Board, and so down here we'll have function create board, and this is going to return a piece, right?
See, I want you to make a type for it, just because you got to keep typing that.
That is,
or type alias. I mean,
I'm not going to make an alias for just the two-dimensional array. I feel like that's overkill, right? Like, it introduces that abstraction would introduce more obscurity, right? Because if I introduced a board type, then I have to like go look at it to be like, what is this actually?
All right, that's fair. That's fair. It does introduce some obscurity.
So first we want to just initialize this to 8x8, which what's the way of doing that? What is the... There's like array.fill, right? .fill. Yeah, I forget the fast way of like creating an array. So I'm just gonna do this. For let I equal 0, I is less than 8, I plus.
All right, while you're doing that, I want to read another comment. I agree that this is awesome. So somebody said we're gonna watch a movie, but this is more interesting. I agree that we're more interesting, but I also agree that we should be in movies. But that's a problem for a different day. But thank you for hanging out with us. It's so great to see you. Let's see. I got some more stuff. Will this be available later? Yes. And hello in Brazil. So many developers in Brazil today. So many people from Colombia. Just like we got so much love coming from international. I saw somebody from Namibia in the chat today. Just so much stuff. Very fantastic. Michael Faith has a really good question for us. Has any work or design started on Angular material theming overhaul using CSS props?
Yes. Yeah. Go look at the PRs. You'll see it happening.
Yeah, Michael, just check out the PRs. Like, I have a comment on PR life. Bonnie is right. The PR life cycle stuff that we have going on. The Angular community is the first community I've ever been a part of where people watch our PR so closely and intently that like whenever we do like anything, people know about it and blog posts come out before we can even like write any like comments about stuff. It's really funny. And I actually love it because you all are so into it. So all the way from NC, let's go. Welcome, graphical boss in the building. Puneet from India, welcome. Alejandro de Medellin, welcome, welcome, welcome.
So interesting. So I was thinking about this. The board is not actually an array of pieces, right?
Oh, this is right.
Because you have empty tiles as well, right? So I guess you could just call those null. So you can have, your board can have a piece. So it's really just a 2D array of like you need something that can contain a piece, right? So we're going to create we're just going to create an interface called cell that can optionally have a piece.
So that's awesome because one of our friends says maybe the board should consist of cells and a piece is assigned to a cell. There you go.
Yeah. So a cell can have a piece or not. We can even say, like, I think you could just say like optional piece here. It's probably the better way to go about that. Right. And so we're going to actually even make that a class so I can new it up. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep it as an interface so I can just use object literals. And so that way I can just push an object literal there. And so this changes to cell. And this explicitly, like, say, is a cell array, even though that is implied by TypeScript. And then here we can return board.
Okay, so real quick. Oh, because you want to push, it should be a cell, right? And not an object literal. Object literal doesn't have a type?
So this should be compatible with this, right? Because I have only one thing. It says this is unknown. Oh, I know why. Because I have to say this is explicitly cell array there. Yeah, that does it.
Okay. What's our pin in analog.js?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I know what it is. Our friend, one of the GDEs, an Angular expert, Brandon Roberts, is making
that, right. I do know
server-side SSR solution. I think it's SSR, right? Is that what it is? I don't want to mischaracterize it, but I think the idea is great, and I think that he has some fun things that could support the community need. People who want to do like file-based routing, some other stuff. So I think it's cool.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about the best way here to put, like, how do I assign the initial pieces, right? Because each piece has like there's a very particular game setup, and I could just probably want to have a function that creates one. Like I'm seeing now the argument for like why you would actually create a why you would create separate classes, right? So I could have class pawn extends piece. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, implements.
Right, implements. There you
go. Right, and it would just be like ID equals pawn, and the color and like valid move I could implement. So really abstract class piece is what I want here, and this is abstract. This is very object-oriented way of doing it.
which is okay. You know, they're all tools in our toolbox, right?
Complaining about no initialization, but it's an abstract class. Yeah, so like I'm thinking,
So seeing all this code and all these and the structure reminds me so much of my days as a Java engineer.
yeah, see, this is just more complicated, right? Like I don't want to do it this way. So we're gonna just delete all that and change this back to an interface. See,
Okay.
this is an important thing to do while you're coding is like try on different approaches while you're doing it and see what sticks.
Okay, so catch the people up who are just joining us. What problem? So we're building chess. What problem are you trying to solve right now?
I am figuring out how I want to construct different piece types. And so pawn, I'm going to just return a piece here. And I'm going to say return an object that says ID of pawn. It's going to have a valid move function, which is not a weird autocomplete there. I'm just going to say return false. Real quick
it doesn't like you missing the function keyword.
Color, and so we're going to need to take in a color here. For black, and we're going to need to take in the board itself.
Micro front ends. Wait a minute, we got some questions. We got to get to some of these questions. Hold on. Okay, so if you want to find out Gira Keith, if you want to find out anything about Webpack Module Federation, the right person to search is for Manfred Steyer. Because somebody put that in the chat for us. He has a wealth of stuff about Module Federation with Webpack that you can check out. So definitely do that. Friends, I will be, myself and another Angular team member will be hanging out at Angular Nation on February 24th. So you can hang out with us there. We'll talk a bit about V16, but I don't know, temper those expectations about what kind of secrets we're going to let out. Because I don't know, we want to keep people surprised. I got some really good stuff planned out. Let's see, got some more questions. Vasinu says, can you tell something about local reference because I can't find it in the Angular documentation? I don't know what you mean local reference. Are you talking about like locales or something like that? Can you let me know more about what you mean? Let's see. Okay, any updates on micro front ends? Roadmap said that there will be some blog posts. I think Minko put out a blog post about this. We'll get you from the Angular team. I think we talked about this already. But if we didn't, let me find out more. I literally thought we did this. Okay, that's a good question. Thanks for bringing this up, Brad. I'll follow up about this. That's a good point. Yeah, okay. I will find out more. And hello to you from Sri Lanka. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us. Damis, hello. Good to see you. DZ from Argentina, welcome. You know what? I need to practice. So, Jeremy, while you're doing this, I'm going to tell the people in the streets what I need to do. I need to practice my international name pronunciation because I speak Spanish. I can always do a good job at pronouncing all our Spanish names, but I want to give the same love and respect to people from all over the place. So I'm going to work on that. International name pronunciation. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it.
So I don't love the way I have to pass the board all over the place. I'm gonna just do it for now. I'm gonna think about a way to improve it later.
Yeah, we got to get some pieces on the board.
And this is gonna be black.
You picked a doozy today, Jeremy.
It's a little more complicated than I thought. Else if
Hey, Cheyenne from Canada. Welcome to the party.
We can simplify this a bit. Font color equal this row is less than or equal to 1. It's going to be black. It's white.
Nietzsche says, "Are we going to use the CDK for drag and drop? If we get there, we'll cross that bridge. Right now, we're building the plane as we're flying."
So if row equals 1, or row equals 7, right? No, not 7. 6 is the row where pawns go. Not all code paths return a value, sure. Null. And so this is going to be so yeah, pawns go in this row, Like these are just hard-coded numbers, but that's how chess is. Like they're just a hard-coded starting position.
Sure.
And so then we say like if row equals 0 or row equals 7. So this is the end rows. Then we will say switch.
Oh, that's what the question was. Okay. So we had a question earlier about like local references. So Pastor New, this is called a template variable. Okay. When you do like input, hashtag, input for name, blah, blah, blah. It's called template variable. And we do have documentation on that. That's probably why you couldn't find it. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Okay. Great question. There you go. I didn't know what you meant at first, but now we got it. Yes, this is what Jeremy's going through. Having to answer questions and figure out on the fly how to generate the board pieces. Yes. But this is what we signed up for.
Yeah. We're just going to say like return here, and this is rook. We got case, we're like moving in from the sides. I think it's bishop after that. So like case 1 and case 6 is going to be return. I'm just going to say this is bishop.
Is it a good practice to use a directive as an HTML tag, like a component without
2 and case 5? Return knight. And then finally, we got the king and the queen. So they're opposite each other. So on the top side, we'll say case 3, return row equals 0, and another one that's going to be a queen.
We're going to answer this question, but I'm trying to give Jeremy a second to get through this case statement that he's building.
Here.
But usually a directive applies some type of like logic or like behavior enhancement to a component or something or an HTML element. So just putting the directive itself as the element, I'm not really sure what the use cases are for something like that. Do you know any use cases like that, Jeremy, where you just put the directive as an element and not as a part, as an attribute?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So someone wants to know about using a directive as a HTML tag, right? Instead of adding it to an attribute.
Yep. We do that in Angular Material.
Okay, there you go. So you can do it depending on your use case.
Yeah, Matt Button is a good example of this. It is, or no, Matt Button is a component that's an attribute. The other way around, we have some card, right? So some of the card elements are directives instead of components. And the reason you would do it is if you don't actually need a template.
Yeah, there you go.
There's probably a more elegant way to do this.
We're not looking for elegant. We got to get pieces on the board.
Oh, I wrote knight instead of king. 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 And king. I'm pretty sure that's right. Okay, and so now we are gonna fill out all of these.
That's right. So
right.
yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. Good.
So there's a lot of duplication here. I don't like all this duplication. Also, this is working.
Don't worry about the duplication. We can dedo. Remember, make it work, make it right, make it fast.
Yeah. So
if you were interviewing me right now and I had a bunch of duplication, as long as I acknowledged it and had a plan to come back for it, you'd be like, yeah, keep going because I want to see you make this work.
I'm going to just take this. I'm going to paste over it and say clean. Yeah, so this is a lot of duplication. And in real life, I would sit and spend some time thinking about how to cut down on some of this duplication. But sometimes duplication's okay. Bishop. But we're live streaming, and so we're just kind of throwing it out there. All right, the knight's going to be an interesting one to write the valid move for. Let's not do that yet. We got to get the pieces showing on this board, right? Because so far it's just been all code.
Right.
So,
let's get some pieces.
Pass stuff here now. So we're going to pass board and color to all of these. See, I don't like having to pass all of these around.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. That's not the next two. Are we new components for Angular? Okay, so we're gonna ask some more questions while you're sorting out your issues here. Are we working on any new components for Angular material? And version 15, we just released some new stuff. Do we have anything else coming up, Jeremy, that you can think of?
We plan on working on a CDK combo box. But aside from that, if you're asking about like Angular material components themselves, like time picker or anything like that, no, unfortunately. The reality is the number of components in the library is at about the maximum the team can actually support right now.
Yeah.
There's kind of like an invisible support cost that most of the open source world doesn't see, in that we support these components for Google, and we have both the public side and kind of a Google internal flavor of those components. And it really does kind of take up a big chunk of the team's resources just to support the components we have today, in terms of keeping up with like material design updates and changing accessibility requirements and bugs and helping people. And so for the near future, there's no plans to add any new components, but the kind of the big project going on is working on like overhauling the theming system so that it can support a lot more customization and can support the new like M3 styles. I'm going to do I'm actually going to do something silly, but again, we're live streaming.
No apologies.
Play pieces.
Wait, what is that Nirvana song? Is it all apologies or no apologies? It's all apologies by Nirvana, but I want the opposite. No apologies.
We're going to say black. And we're going to say white. And then, I'm not going to do that. We're going to say black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to say black pawn, black king, queen, rook, knight, bishop, pawn, king, queen, rook, knight, bishop.
All right, while you're doing that, how was the standard adoption been within both internal and external users? I imagine migration. So migrations will help to further adoption in the community, and I think internally people are loving it. I mean, where you also have to consider this, like at the scale that we write internal applications, just switching everything over to standalone will take time, right? So people are working on it, and but people have had a very positive experience so far. Lots of positive feedback so far with using standalone components. I actually love standalone components. Whenever I write applications now, I start with standalone, even though the bootstrapping process, I'm really excited about like all the migrations and how that's going to smooth that out. But even having to write the bootstrap application manually for the last couple of months, the thing I love about that is just that it really helps me to just, I don't know, there's something cathartic about writing it by hand and not using the tooling just yet, just to really solidify the patterns and all that kind of stuff. So I really love that stuff. Let's see. Wait, no, it's not. The roadmap is not outdated. We keep our roadmap pretty updated, actually. We might not have gotten to some stuff yet, but doesn't mean it's outdated. But we'll check it because that's a good point. Okay, I respect that.
So we're gonna just create a, where is it? I'm gonna create a method display piece.
Are we doing anything around the virtual scroll solution for Mat/CDK tables?
I mean, it's there. We have an experimental like auto size virtual scroll and experimental. I don't think we have any plans to move it out of experimental anytime soon, but it's there and usable. Is there like a specific thing you're wondering from it? So
I just think if there's any progress, if it's coming or anything like that. But before we dive down that thing, I know that Sean had a question about forms, and I don't want that to get lost. I wasn't ignoring, but I'm also trying to balance distracting Jeremy from like, when he gets.
I'm here to answer questions.
I know, but I also want to see some pieces on the board. We got to see some pieces.
Here, I'm just gonna like.
Who knew that displaying a chessboard was going to be, What's a record, Jeremy? Tell the streets. What's a record?
Oh, record is just basically this data structure here, where it's a JavaScript object that has, something on the left-hand side and something on the right-hand side. So in this case, string. This could be way more type safe. I've kind of gone off the rails a little in terms of just trying to get something on the page. So.
I'll say, well, we are trying to build chess in front of everybody.
And so we have our, we're gonna just go over our board.
Bonnie, if you did this, share with people how they can find out more about your work to get the virtual scroll working with the CDK table.
Oh, and we're gonna.
No, it's all good, Pedro. No problem.
Find. Turn.
It's all good, Sean. Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't lose your participation. That's all good. Let's see, make sure. Somebody said something about YouTube Shorts. Hopefully you all like the YouTube Shorts. But here's what I'm interested in. I think of the ideas for a lot of our content for YouTube, and you tell me what are some things that you folks need us to to create to support you better. I know people have been asking for the course because I know people want to help onboard. The course is coming. I promise you. I've already recorded the course, so it's not me. We're working on post production, so that's coming. But what else do you folks want to see? I have more ideas for shorts. I want to have more fun with the YouTube Shorts too. So you're gonna see some experiments of just me at my creative best, just making stuff. People do roll their eyes when I give some suggestions about things I want to make. They're like, "Mark, you're not gonna make that." I'm like, "All right, it was worth a try." Sometimes I go out and do fun things. Let's see. What else? All right.
Oh, this stop one piece.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Are there any plans to add a decorator to the input property when it changes instead of the ng on changes lifecycle hook?
So hold on, let me read that myself. Stay tuned for to our GitHub next week.
Yeah.
Not to pre-announce anything, but
yep, just stay tuned.
Stay tuned to our GitHub next week. Okay, so I should have display pieces here, and I think I need to just add the pawns now. So cell dot. This should be cell.
Andre, this is a real thing. You know how many times I've done this where I'm like, I could build this in the weekend or in the afternoon, and I'll get involved and I'll say, oh wait, this is more complex than I thought. So it's okay. This happens. I'm glad that other people feel the pain and that they know, even, we're just regular people who work at Google, and we still get to that point where we're like, oh wait, this is more complicated than I thought.
Right. All right. Hey, there we go.
Let's go. All right. So you tell me what's happening here.
I've also got to real quick just change the style down here to this should say color of white. There we go.
There you go.
So this is wrong, but we got something showing now.
Oh, because they're all pawns?
Yeah, so we're getting all pawns.
Aren't we all just pawns?
Which is right, because I returned pawn in every single one of these.
There you go.
So queen.
Copy
king.
pasta. Oh, go back. Change that to king and not kind.
You got me.
There you go. It's easy to be a co-pilot. Come on.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that the suggestion to make separate classes for all of these was probably a good one.
We learn. Oh, look at that. We need some hype in the chat. Jeremy, don't type another thing until we see some hype in the chat. I don't care.
This isn't the hard part, though. The hard part's moving them.
No, we just spent 54 minutes getting here. So, I need some celebration. I need like the party popper emoji. I need something because this is pretty good. This is pretty good. All
our
right.
chessboard is like weirdly squished.
Wait, which one is?
The whole board, it's no longer 2D, or it's not square. I'm just going to change this from min width and min height to right, and width. I'm going to change it to, let's call it like 24. And say
better
vertical line middle should help.
Or display flex inside your TD and just censor them that way.
No, I mean these are text, and so they should. Oh, it's because I got this spaces here. There we go.
There you go. All right, I like that. Now we're seeing the hype. Starving Musician, I didn't get to greet you when you came in. What's going on? So good to see you. So good to see you. Welcome.
This is going to be our off-brand chess called Chess.
I didn't even notice that. Oh, that's funny. Okay.
All right, so let's add the logic for moving the easiest. Oh, so interesting. We actually have to check for bishops and rooks. We have to check along the path that they're moving to see if they have a valid move. So pawns are gonna be easiest, right? So let's just go ahead and write the move validation for pawns, and then add a little drag and drop.
Okay, so for your move validation, are you going to start off with click to destination, or are you going to try to do drag and drop?
Let's just try to do drag and drop first, because CDK drag and drop should make this really easy.
All right.
Let's
do it.
So, all right, for pawn, right? First, we need to have our const move direction, which depends on the color. So, so if color is equal to white, your move direction is going to be +1. I'm not going to put the plus there though, and otherwise it's -1. Right, because the white pieces are moving, are up, and the black pieces are moving down. We might want to tweak the colors later, but we'll worry about that when we get to it.
Okay.
Because this, like, they look indistinguishable from each other, so we might want to make them like red and blue or something like that.
Since they're Unicode, can you just change it right now?
I need to figure out what I want to do first. So,
okay. Yeah, come back to that. First, move them because
So then we say our valid move is return if row. Oh, what am I doing? This piece needs to know its own location. Snap. That's annoying.
So no matter the color, they can move in both directions, says our friend.
Oh, can you move pawns backward?
That's what this research telling us.
Pawn move backward. The pawn can never move backwards. Bum bum bum.
Okay, something's happening.
So.
Maybe that was a reference to something else. I don't know.
We are going to have to. How are we going to do this? So we can do it one of two ways. Each piece can keep track of its own position, or we can pass in the old position and the new position to whether or not it's a valid move. See, I have regrets.
That's okay.
So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually you're gonna think this is silly.
I'm not, because I'm not making this. So I think everything is brilliant as you try to figure it out.
This is gonna solve some problems.
So while you're solving that problem, I'm gonna tell people about a fun fact about Jeremy. So when I first met Jeremy, so I'm from Chicago, and if you're from Chicago, you have very strong feelings about pizza and what good pizza actually means. And I remember meeting Jeremy the first time, and well, not the first time, but one of the first times, and he was just like, "Yeah, I have strong opinions about pizza. What is pizza? What's not?" And for a long time, I just kind of disregard his opinion because I'm like, "You're not from Chicago. Like, you don't know what pizza is, bro. Like, relax." And then recently, we got to hang out in person, and he took me to a pizza place, and he said it was the best pizza in the area. And he was right. Like, and I brought some home to my wife, and she's from Chicago too, and she was also agreeing how good the pizza was. And so, yeah, Jeremy knows pizza. I respect his opinion about pizza and about TV shows. He's also very good about recommendations about books and TV shows. So,
yeah. So, Mark, you say I'm not from Chicago. I am from New York, which
that's true. That's true. I thought you were from Florida. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought you were from Florida.
So I did mostly grow up in Florida, but I am originally born in New York.
Got it. Makes sense now. And then here's the truth: deep dish pizza rocks. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you for acknowledging that. And you are now part of the club of people that I think are cool, because deep dish pizza is fantastic if you get the right deep dish pizza. Otherwise, you get like spaghetti and cheese, cheese and sauce casserole kind of, if you get the wrong deep dish pizza. But good deep dish pizzas, from Chicago, is really, really fantastic. You got to do you. That's what I say. You pineapple on pizza. If you like it, I love it, right? Do you? I'm not a snob on what you can put on pizza. I won't do it, but I'm not going to hate on you for doing it.
Okay. So I'm just going to do another big switch case here. So before I was putting the valid move piece dot. No. Oh, wait. So also just kind of like alt. Before I was putting the function for like whether or not it's a valid move like on every piece, and I realized like it's just going to be easier for the sake of this program to have the valid move logic all in one place. Like normally, like I always prefer smaller functions over
Sure.
Over like big monoliths like this. But I think just because of the way I programmed myself into a corner, this is going to be a little easier. On.
Mind
and
you,
now I can just add
hard.
What?
Jeremy, this is not an easy problem, right? Like, I just want you to give yourself that grace that this is not an easy problem.
Now we'll say this like const move direction equals piece.color. It's white, and it is 1, else it's -1. Well, let's do that.
All right, while he's typing that, let's see what people are saying. Yes, I agree. The best piece is the one you make yourself. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. I used to make some really good pizza at home, but it was just, you know, some pita bread, some sauce, and some cheese, and a couple of toppings. Because it was really fast and easy. So I get it. Oh, I get it. Okay, here's a suggestion that might be helpful. Guess you could have behavior functions that you can decorate the piece with. So that's interesting. I think people are trying to just offer some solutions that might be helpful.
Yeah. So we're not going to worry about capturing real quick.
Right.
We're just going to say, we're going to just worry about moving them forward. And so let's, how much time we got? Okay, we got time, right, Mark?
We have 27 minutes.
All right, let's try to just add some CDK drag drop here. Like we haven't done this in any of our other things, have we?
Nope. Because I know for my next build, I'm going to do something we always put off, which is include like Firebase right off the top for some database and live stuff. So yes, let's start expanding our tool set to include.
Okay, I did ng add Angular CDK, and that worked. So I'm just going to go back to run ng serve again. And so now I should be able to import that. So this is still using ng modules because I didn't think about it. But import CDK/drag drop. I think that's it. Did it actually install Angular? Oh, it didn't install it. Why not? What happened there? All right, go dev server, ng add Angular CDK.
Command aborted because
no terminal detected. Here, skip. This is just because of the weird lame terminal I'm using on my Windows machine.
Mm-hmm. That git bash.
Wait, okay. Found compatible package versions CDK 7.0. That doesn't sound right.
So yeah, that doesn't.
Make sure that installed the right thing. Oh no, that installed absolutely the wrong thing. Oh boy, let's not do that. I made that the bug. I'm gonna say yarn add at Angular/CDK at latest. What version of Angular am I using? Am I just using an old version of Angular CLI? Is that what's wrong?
Let's find out because you. Feels
what
weird.
Version of anything do I have installed? Common. No, I'm using version 14.
Still.
So it's a little out of date.
So yeah, it's not the worst I've ever seen.
So we'll say at 14 then. I must have an old version of Angular CLI that installed an old version of Angular. I don't do development on this Windows machine except for these streams.
That's okay.
Anyway, we should have drag drop module here.
Wait, why is everybody saying no? There's like so many no's. What happened? Oh, you are answering a different question. Could the pawn move backwards? Okay, yeah. Okay, so here's another question while you're getting your setup fixed here. Since we now have standalone components, the next logical step will be to introduce implicit imports. There's something like capital mat button instead of mat dash button for implicit import, right? So is that coming, implicit imports?
Wait, sorry, say that again. I was thinking about dragging and dropping.
That's okay. Just because we have standalone, could implicit imports be next?
Implicit imports. I don't know what that would mean. Like,
so something like this, where you can use like capital M mat button instead of mat dash button for the implicit.
Oh, we're thinking about it, but nothing to really, like, nothing concretely planned at this time. I have to go look at the documentation for CDK drag drop. I forget how to use it. It's been a while.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about Pawns Mayhem. It's all good. Glad you're here, participating with the stream. It's great to have everybody so engaged. You're all good.
Like, we've got drop lists, but I just want like a regular drop zone. Like, I don't want a whole list. You not have that?
No, we did, because with the Kanban board we built, you could do the drop in the column. So you got to be able to do that.
Yeah. So I just forget. It's been a long time since I've used this API.
Yeah. All right. Let me see how I can support you.
Because like this whole thing is like a. Maybe it is just like I would treat each cell as a different drop list, though. Basic drag and drop. Maybe I should just look at the chat. Like, so it's not 2D drag and drop, right? It's that I want to create an 8x8 different matrix of drop zones. So let's just do this, I guess. See, now I'm really in this territory.
Yes, let's see. But you want one of these without the sorting. I mean, essentially, that's what you want.
What happens if I just do that? And on this, I'm going to call this class piece. Oh man, there's so much stuff I need to fix up. I bit off more than I could chew with this, Mark.
That happens. Remember, I tried to make spades in an hour and a half, and I was like, "Oh wait, there's way more than this."
I feel like we got further on spades. Cursor.
Yeah.
Brad, yeah. Oh boy, this is not piece.
This is amazing.
NG-serve crashed. Didn't crash. I just forgot to rerun it after installing.
So I kind of want you to put this in the back of your mind. How can we leverage restricted axis movement? Oh no, this only goes X and Y. Never mind. Okay, I was gonna say because you do diagonal dropping.
So we got okay. So this is silly. Like this is a whole thing, right? Of getting the piece the right color. So here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, just change the board color to like a different color. Yep. Yeah, do that for now, and just leave it.
Flat dark green. Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
And then we actually want to make the pieces either black or white, depending on the piece. And so we're going to say style.color equals, real quick, I'm just going to add a little method for that. Called get color.
Wait, what? Did this just happen? Make chess and Angular and CDK tracking software, and it's about the journey. Oh, that's funny. I thought that said something else. I thought that said it was a thing about Jeremy. I was like, what? How's that even possible?
So let's do that. Ended up making this a function anyway. Where did I missed the quote? There we go. So get color. Go here. We'll say get color. See. Black equals get color. What did I do?
Get color does not exist on type?
Sure it does. There it is.
It's opposite. So.
Oh, no, you know what? This is wrong. This is wrong. Undo, undo. This is get piece color. And it just needs, oh no. Made a mistake. Yeah, this is wrong. Return this board.
But you can't just figure out based on the cell's color? What
no, pieces have an intrinsic color. Yeah. Property. Yeah, sure. Okay, I can change the name. Color equals get piece color. Okay, that's better.
Let's see.
And now we have to make the other cells not actually white. So let's just say color like off beige. Or no, background.
No, you gotta do something else. This
is beautiful. What's a good color? Dark goldenrod. Okay.
Dark goldenrod.
Okay.
It's something, Jeremy. I don't know what this is, but it's something.
Okay. We're getting there. Okay, so events. We can put an event here. CDK drop list dropped, and let's just call move. Let's call it move. And we're gonna go ahead and create that method move, and I'm just gonna make it like console.log move and see what happens. Open up my console here, and okay, so our drops are happening, right? We're actually getting this information. So
yay!
We're gonna just $event there. And this is event is a drop event. Let's see, what are the types of events we have available? Drag sort event. That's not right. Need to go to the API reference again. So I should be able to find all the outputs here. Okay, it is called CDK drag drop is the name of the event, which I would have put event at the end if I was writing this today.
Mm-hmm.
What are you complaining about now? Oh, it's generic.
So what do you get in here?
Right now.
A piece of something?
I forget what it gives you. Well, let's just see. We're going to log the event out. Okay. So yeah, it just gives you a bunch of indices.
Yeah. And while you're inspecting that, I'm going to answer a question.
What's that?
I said, while you're inspecting the data, I'm going to answer this question.
Yeah.
Should we write method calls in the style? Is there any performance benefit of writing the expression in template versus calling component function? In general, though, like we're not going off of best practices right now. We're just trying to make it work. And you can call functions in a template. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So the whole function in a template thing, you don't want to call a function in a template if your function is doing something expensive. If your function is doing like a basic arithmetic, or if it's just doing like a property lookup, that's not really a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's when your function is costly that it's something you really want to avoid.
Yeah.
So,
but I know it's been one of the things where like in what do you call style guides and other things, people are like, do not call a function in a template. And right, if it's expensive, don't do it. Don't do it. Just like Jeremy critiqued some code that I had that I actually was using an ng on it to make a HTTP call, and he was just like, "Yeah, you can put that in the constructor." And I was like, "What? That feels like weird to me." But it's like, "Yeah, it's not that expensive in this case, so not a big deal." Like, oh, okay.
Data equals. Can I create an object literal inside of a template expression like this? I don't actually know if I can do this. I think I can. Okay. So what we've done here is we've put some data on our draggable thing, and we've put some data on our droppable thing. So now when I drag this and drop it here, we should see, we should be able to look at that data.
All right, just to wrap this conversation real quick, because I know we got a few minutes left. So a function in template will be called at every change detection cycle. Again, that is really bad if the function call is expensive, right? But if it's not expensive, I get it. It's not expensive though. It's okay. I know that it's been pretty like well ingrained in the community to not do this, because usually people will do it with expensive function calls. But if it's not an expensive function call, like it's okay,
Okay, so cool. Here's what we got. So now in this move here, we're like in our.
Let's say that's unreadable. There you go.
Yeah, I got it. I got you. We have our drag data and our drop data, where our drag data is our piece, and our drop data is the location where we're bringing it.
Let's go. This is totally doable now. Go ahead, do it.
Okay. So what we're gonna say is if this dot valid move from we need to find the row and the we need to find the indices of the thing. So we actually don't want the board position. We actually also just want the row and C and call.
Right. So somebody said that earlier.
Yeah.
They said you probably want to know where you started from.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like overwhelm us with feedback, but they were right.
I also gonna real quick. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah, go see who said that.
We need just interface position, which has row number and call of number, so that we can have our typing down here. So this is drop of position, comma, position. So now when we look at these, we should know that this is position. Is it really? Do I need like position? Is that it? I'm not going to like it if that's it. Yep. This one we don't care about. I don't know what this first one is. We're going to put any there.
Wait, what? What happened here?
So what we need to do is to tell the type system here, this is the type of the container data, and this is the type of the drag data. We don't have like any documentation on the generics, so this is actually kind of an annoying thing right now, but it's okay. So if this dot valid move, and we're going to pass the old thing, so event.item assignments actually, so const old position is that. Const new position is that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll say old position.row, old position.call, new position.row, new position.call. So we check if it's a valid move. And we say piece equals board of old position.row, old position.com.
We'll fix it. The horse, sorry, the knight and the bishop are in the wrong position. It sounds like, but we can fix that.
Yeah, that just is that's the difference between chess and chess.
Right. Right. This is the chessboard. Angry chess.
Chess. What are you talking about?
Starving musician.
I'm gonna grab all this stuff again, and that is we're gonna set the undefined.
I think you put.
Oh,
you
no.
say it would be null or empty. Okay, yeah.
And then let's stop board. Actually, I'll just duplicate that and change this to new position. New position equals piece. I think that'll do it. No.
Okay, so before you go like any further, put the move, like the move logic from 68 to 70 outside of your if statement to make sure that works before we. You see what I'm saying? There are two different potential problems.
That's what I was gonna do.
Oh, okay. I didn't want you. I was saying because I didn't want you to dive into debugging the if statement. I'm like, wait, let's just make sure the move works.
Oh,
halfway works.
Oh, something's really far off.
Okay.
Oh, welcome to chess.
Welcome to chess. Yeah. Okay. So we know that there's something there.
All right. So what we're probably going to get to be able to do in the time we have left is just debug the not network. I want source. Where's source? There's sources.
Yeah.
And let's find here. Whoops. Rather than trying, I've made my.
Wait! Somebody said you got a typo in the template. Okay. What's the typo, Eddie? The head in the template.
What's my typo? Oh.
You put C as row.
Boop, boop, boop. You got it. Thanks, chat.
Let's go, Eddie the head. That's a good icon too. I like that.
Okay, but so real quick, we'll go back then and.
So does it work now?
No. So let's debug it.
Okay, but at least we didn't spend our last minute not recognizing that C and R. Yeah, cool.
All right, so we're gonna drag and drop there. We got our old position 5-6, and our new position is also 5-6. Bum bum bum. That's a problem. They're the same thing. They shouldn't be the same thing.
Is it because is there an somebody says the typo made it work? That's true. They all have the same ID. Is that a thing that we have to worry about?
No, I changed ID to type.
Okay.
Why are they the same thing? I should be getting a drop list for a different cell than the one I'm in, right? So like,
yeah,
this cell here should be a particular drop list, and this one here should be.
That one's 44. What's the one you start your source drop list?
I mean, like this should go to here, right? Like,
so this looks different.
So maybe these APIs don't do what I think they are. Container in which the item was dropped. This is the item that is being dropped. They should have different data.
What other data is available in that event? Let's check that event out again.
Let's look at event here. So we'll over to console. Oh boy, I've quarter right now. Where's console? Okay, we're just gonna look at event.
Yep.
So we got item has data, It has a drop container that has data, and it's the same. See, this is weird. It shouldn't be the same. And I don't know why it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are basically out of time, so we'll have to.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Let's see if we can figure this out. Drop container is a CDK dropless, droppable container, and the draggable is a part of. Okay. I was looking at the API to see if there's something that.
You know what it is? I know what it is. This is that items drop container. We want
like the start container, a previous container, but it's still the same.
This is previous container, but it's still the same, right? That's the weird thing is like previous container makes sense for it to be the same. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Start at drop list 52. Where does the new container go?
I wonder if this is maybe something weird about just using an object literal in a binding.
Can you expand container real quick? I just want to see one thing.
Here, yeah.
Okay, so you see the ID right there is the same. So so it thinks it's going to the same place because that one says 52. So that's why they're the same.
Okay.
So the drop container, but you tried to go to 44.
So maybe, you know what it might be is that it's not actually registering it that I'm moving it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because maybe I didn't hook up, maybe I have to connect all these lists to each other. So entering between lists. You can connect one or more or by wrapping the elements in a CDK drop list group. That's what I'm missing here. This whole table needs to be one CDK drop list group. That's what it was missing. So let's close that, refresh. Boom.
Boom.
Okay. And so now we should be able to get our move validation. Let's see if that works.
Nice job figuring that out.
So I can move. Okay. So my move validation is wrong. Why is my move validation wrong? So we'll say if it's a pawn, we get the move direction. If it's white, it's 1. So new rule equals old row plus move direction. So we'll just like throw a breakpoint in here real quick. And then, boop, boop. Okay. So we got past that. So we'll skip that. Move direction is 1. That is right. New row is 5. Old row is 6. Oh, I have them flipped. That's what's wrong. This is -1. This is +1. Now I can move that there, but I can't move it there.
Boom.
All right, and that's it. That's chess.
That's chess. That's chess.
Chess. That's chess.
Excellent work. Jeremy, any last words for the community before we run off to our next meetings and stuff?
No, thank you all for coming and watching. I want to caveat that this whole thing, I have a lot of regrets about the way I wrote this. I think if I were to spend more than 30 seconds thinking about it, I would have done some things differently.
Sure. And thanks for all the great feedback. We really do love the collaborative nature of this stream when we build stuff. So you can always suggest stuff, friends. We love this stuff because you all were very helpful in helping us catch bugs and just being a part of the community. Thank you for being a part of the Angular community. More content's coming out soon. Stay tuned. We say this every time, but hopefully we are delivering every time we say we're bringing new stuff out. V15 was awesome. V15.2 is coming soon. Just a lot of good stuff's on the way. So thank you. We'll see you the next time, and go build great apps.